What's up, guys? It's Nehemiah back here, and I'm really excited to introduce Shawn to you guys. We literally been dying to work with one another. I had the opportunity to meet Shawn, I want to say at least 5 to 6 years ago, when he gave this amazing keynote speech to a group that we're both in, where we get mentorship, called Be Me. They so happened to hire Shawn to actually do the keynote, and I literally was amazed at just his credentials and just literally his success. So now that we finally found a way really to work together and add value to so many other people's lives, I'm just excited, bro. So I just wanted to say thank you, first off, for doing this partnership with me. And I'm happy that I can call you a friend tour, a mentor, and just someone who I can literally grow with and win with. So I just want to say thank you, bro.
Oh, man. And you know what? The feeling is absolutely mutual, because we've been really wanting to get this conversation going, really get some partnerships going. And I remember, it's funny because the first time that I remember meeting you, you had just received like a Black Enterprise Award. You were in a room. You also received an award for Be Me, and we were in a conference in DC. And I noticed this guy that stood up because they asked people to stand up and be able to talk about whatever they do. And the first person I was just so eager to stand up and be able to talk about what he do, this, and that, was you, bro. Nehimiah Davis gets up and says, "Hey, I'm Nehemiah Davis." Starts to spot out what you do. And it was just like, this brother, he didn't come here playing around, right? The next thing I know, man, it's just crazy to watch people. And with that type of diligence, it's funny because I would be listening to E.T. and listen to one of his tapes, and I could hear him say, "Neo." And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, he talking about Neo. You know what I'm saying? And it's a matter of, I could even see, like, I'm watching Steve Harvey and my guy Neo is on it, just doing your thing, man. So I get excited because you go so hard. And not even, let me make sure I get to the real meat of things that I really get excited about. I remember when my brother was like, yo, I'm about to come up to Flint and bring a gang of waters in a big truck, and it's like, man, my man is really impacting lives. So when it comes down to mentorship, helping people, leading, like, I'm like, we're one and the same, man, brothers from another mother.
Facts, bro. I'm really pumped up and excited. So I just want to say thank you for taking a moment to really share some game and some insight. One of the things that I really want people to understand, Shawn, in a minute, I want you to give a brief, we don't want to make it long, but give us something quick about your upbringing. But you know my story. Kicked out of high school, kicked out of college, fired from 10 jobs. Dad been in jail since I was 2 for murder, but I still made a way to make it happen, right? All the things you went through, you still made a way to make it happen. So my ultimate goal in this world is to let people know you can come from absolutely nothing. You can be at the bottom of the bottom, but once you make a decision that you want success, that you want to own it, you make it happen. So I want you to share a little bit of the story, but more importantly, like, I want you to kind of let people know that they can do it, right? Because there's nothing special about you and I. Like, we wasn't born with no special abilities. We just go hard. So let us know.
You know what? So, and thanks for that, man, because I think it's always good for people to start out and talk about the accolades. I can talk about Forbes magazine, CNN, some Black Enterprise. I can talk about getting awards that we both got from President Barack Obama. We can talk about all that kind of stuff. But if we don't talk about how we actually got there and where we started, it's really no sake in having these conversations, man. Congrats, but like, how, right? And how can anybody do this? So similar to you, humble beginnings. I was born a crack baby, and I have 7 brothers. 3 are unfortunately deceased, and 3 have been to prison. Thank God, one of them actually just came home about 2 months ago. Really excited about that. But having that type of environment, having that type of upbringing, you can only imagine what my immediate environment was like. So my mom wasn't around much. She was a professional shoplifter. I love my queen. She just has some very interesting entrepreneurial ways about herself. And my dad, he just wasn't present. I mean, when I think about my father, I don't have a bad thing to say about him. I think he's a great guy and all those really great things about him. I love that. But he just absolutely wasn't present. I was saying maybe once a year, and I'm not even talking about Christmas or birthday, but maybe randomly once a year for the 14 short years I had him around. And it's a matter of knowing that, going to a high school with like a 40% graduation rate, and having in the fact that I had to actually raise my own younger brother, throughout high school and even take them to college with me. Those are things where, and even going to a school like the University of Michigan, selling drugs, weed, and doing scams. And it's kind of like, well, how do you go from this situation where there is blight? You know, you're from the west side of Detroit. It's all these things that are going on that's not very positive. But then how do you go to one of the top universities in America, right? So it's, where's that gap? And that gap in between is called mentorship. And so that mentorship, it crosses a bridge for anybody to get from here to there. So what I love so much is mentorship, friendship, connecting with people and getting information that we need. I like to say that, you know, when you think about your ideal self and your current self, in order to close that gap, that's called active knowledge. And so that active knowledge, when you stack those mentors in between, they're building that bridge so you can walk right across that bridge to get to your ideal self with that active knowledge.
Fire. And I really appreciate it. And Shawn, I didn't have a mentor till I was 25 or 26. And that literally was just a huge mistake for me not having that, right? So what I'm really excited about is that I get the opportunity to get mentors now, and that you even just touched on how important and how imperative that it is. So one of the things I wanted to touch on, Shawn, I know right now a speaking engagement could go from 10,000 to 25,000. And a lot of people will be like, man, is that even feasible? So I want you to kind of touch on that, letting people know, man, it's possible to be able to do those type things with the right guidance and the right mentorship and just actually believing in yourself. I truly believe, Shawn, the start of greatness is when you make a decision that I'm going to believe in me more than I'm going to believe in anything else. So kind of touch on that.
Yeah, you know what? And that's something that I thought was interesting because when you talk about speaking and getting paid a premium, I do get paid up to $25,000 for an hour, right? For a speech. That doesn't mean every time I go out there, I get that. It fluctuates from, like, you know, it can be whatever it may be, 5 to do this event for 30 minutes or whatever it may be. And this may be 10, 15, 25 here, whatever. But I give them 25,000 for a speaking engagement. Now, the interesting thing about that is, it's like, why would somebody pay you that much? Well, the thing is, there's no such thing, first and foremost, as a motivational speaker. There's no such thing as a motivational speaker. There's only experts and rich people that people want to hear from, right? So if you're an expert, that means you add tremendous value to a particular audience. If you're a rich person, you can just talk about the fact that however you made your money or whatever else, and people are just inspired by rich people. So if you're either one of those, you're creating massive value to the people that are actually listening to you. So we got to really pinpoint, like, what is this specific area of massive value that we can provide? And then once you hone that down, that's when people will pay you more and more and more to hear the specific information from you. Case in point, a lot of times people get afraid to niche themselves down and try to say that they'll speak about any and everything. But when you do that, you got to think about, let's say, for example, if your foot is hurt. Neo, if your foot is hurt, what kind of doctor you want to go to?
Foot doctor. I need a specialist.
It's just that simple, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a doctor that work with shoulders or OBGYN. You don't need people delivering babies. You want a foot doctor. And the thing is, there's so many people that are looking for their specific doctor. You have to figure out what specific type of speaker you are, because there's people who need your solutions.
Wow, that's bad. I appreciate that. And we're going to wrap this up in a minute. Shawn, one of my favorite things to do is create products, right, that you literally can create once and get paid forever, right? I.e. writing a book, i.e. a program, i.e. Some training course, just things that you literally can create once that'll pay you forever. So me being the author of 3 books, you being the author of a couple books, how important is it to really tell people to share their story with the world? Because that's something that not only they can monetize with, but it will give them that notoriety and put them on platforms that they never knew they could be on. But the problem that I see, Shawn, is that most people just don't know it's possible.
That's right. Yeah.
So touch on that, bro, because I'm trying to help more people become authors, right? So I want you to kind of touch on that, bro. That's a goal that we both have.
Absolutely, man. And I'm excited about helping people become authors, because some people, for one, people think that they don't know if they're ready to be an author yet. Some people say that, yeah, you know, I'm not really at that point yet. People told me when I was writing my first book, they were like, aren't you a little too young to be writing a book? I said, not at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a little too young not to take advantage of an opportunity that's right in front of me when people, they need to hear from me. You know what I'm saying? So the thing was, what I like to say to people, you can talk about your story, message, and your expertise, right? And those are things where even if you're not at a point where you're talking about your whole life story in a book, you have a specific situation or some specific expertise and areas where people want to hear your story. Case in point, a book company asked me to write my first book, and they wanted me to write a book about transforming a young man's life. I had adopted a young man. I was 27, transformed his life. He came to me and it was like smoking weed, selling weed, stealing cars, whatever else. But by the time he graduated, he was a senior class president. He had a 29 on the ACT, a 3.8 GPA, and he had a full ride to the University of Michigan and Morehouse. Now, the thing was, I was on the news for that, and they wanted me to write a book. A book company asked me to write a book, not about my whole life. They just wanted it about this situation. So how many situations can somebody just talk about, right? And then knowing that we're talking about mentorship, I needed mentorship. I provide mentorship. I had mentoring programs. I was an educator, right? And so a lot of times people can say, I'm not ready yet. I was 27, right? So it's a matter of knowing that your story is going to help somebody else. The richest people in the world solve other people's problems. And everybody out here has a story. Everybody out here can solve problems. Everybody needs to put their story, message, or expertise.
And that's crazy. And for me, Shawn, I'm not a mathematician by any means, but the idea that I was able to invest the time, the energy, and money one time in creating my book, and now I still sell thousands of copies a year is literally, it has blown my mind. So I'm really excited really for our partnership. And guys, quickly, Shawn and I we got a mission, and that is to help 1,000 people become authors, right? Help 1,000 people tell their stories, help 1,000 people increase their income, help 1,000 people just get their message out to the world. And I'm really excited. Are you excited about that as well?
Listen, 1,000 people are going to be able to put their story, message, or expertise out there. And this mission is starting now. And we want this to go all throughout 2019. By the time we come back around, by the time the end of 2019 comes around, it's going to be like, man, you said 1,000. What's better than 1,000? 2.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. And it's going to happen. So, guys, we're not going to hold any more of your time. We literally just wanted to kind of create this interview for you to just kind of give you the opportunity to see that, man, we're no different from you. We came from nothing. We lived in some of the worst situations and some of the worst areas. But now we're world travelers. We're international speakers. We're authors. We're serial entrepreneurs. And this all started because we decided to make a decision. So one of the things that we want to bless you guys with, Shawn and I, is doing a free training for you right now where we're going to literally show you the 3 big secrets that's going to help you become a best-selling 6-figure author in 90 days. So what we want you to do, you can, whether you click on a link below or above, find the link wherever it is, but just register for our live training, get inside and take advantage of this information that we're going to share for you, because I know and believe that you are going to be one of the 1,000 people we help get on this journey. So cannot wait to help you guys.
Yeah, excited, man. So look, guys, listen to Neo. We're actually going to make some headway here. It's all about impact and income and making sure we can do that and duplicate that for all 1,000, at least 1,000 people we want to help.
So listen up, guys. We'll see you on the inside. Go register right now, and we'll see you in a minute. Cannot wait to talk to you. Cannot wait to answer your questions. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you in a second. See you.